Stone Cold Prose, building better words.
Hi guys, welcome back to Stone Cold Prose, where we build better words, better thoughts, and better men. I'm Miles Watson, novelist and author of numerous award-winning series, including Cage Life, Sinner's Cross, and The Chronicles of Magnus. I worked in Hollywood for 12 years, law enforcement for another 10, and now I break it all down and build it back better. Today, we're going to do something a little different and have ourselves an unscripted rant on why Hollywoke won't be going gently into that good night, even though the public is pretty much over it. Let's get into this. The fact of the matter is that a lot of actors, especially the young actors that are being cultivated for fame, meaning they're people that were identified as the next generation of star, and they're trying to make these people happen. A lot of those people spend more time being educated in politics, meaning they were told what to say and how to say it and how to carry themselves. It's no longer enough to be an actor. Now you have to be an activist, and you have to be an activist for a particular ideology, right? So they spent a ton of time learning how to say the right things about diversity, equity, inclusion, all of it, especially inclusivity. And they had to say things, like always throw in the fact that, for example, with Snow White, she's it's hard for me to even talk about that with a straight face, but Snow White would be an example where she talks about she's not being rescued by the handsome prince, da 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 da. So that whole thing, like, they have to get all these talking points out there, right? These woke talking points. They're educated on how to do this, and they're educated how to appear as an activist on social media and in front of the cameras when they're on the red carpet, or when they're, always talk about diversity and equity and inclusion. Never mind the fucking actual story of the movie that you're making, or the fact, whether your acting's any good. Nope. It's all about hitting the woke talking points. Well, it's almost like a communist training camp, where, you're taught to think a certain way and then to argue a certain way, or even if you want to stay off politics, when somebody's in seminary, they're taught how to argue against atheists or people from other religions. They're taught all the ways to attack their own religion, and then how to defend it, and then how to counterattack, right? It's a school of thought. There's a lot of different schools of thought. Well, the woke school of thought, Hollywood thought that was the future. That was the new model. And because Hollywood is not actually left-wing or right-wing, it's totally amoral. It has no interest in politics at all. None whatsoever. Very few of the people at the top give a damn, or a shit for that matter, about anything political. All this stuff about them being woke and them being ultra-leftist, it's actually bullshit. They don't care. They go along with whatever they think they're supposed to be, period. There is a small handful of people who really believe this stuff, but for the most part, they would have been very happy to swing hard right if that's where they thought the audience was. Okay? They're chasing the money under the old model. There is, like I said, there's some imperviousness to financial loss based on the investment model, but that is going to come to an end eventually, because people who invest want a return on their investment. Go figure. Come to me for other economic tips. But what it boils down to is that there was almost like a training camp for actors. It's almost like they went to seminary, or they went to one of these like communist training schools, or they went to an ideological training school, and they were taught how to present themselves and what to say. And that training of actors has created a pipeline. So when these actors see all this failure, they don't really react to it and try to distance themselves from it right away. If you look at Brie Larson, it took her a long time to realize how loathed and how despised she was, not only by the broad public, but by a lot of people in the industry, because she sold herself so completely to this image, to this idea of, we're going to talk about diversity and inclusion, and it's like, you're an actress. People want to hear you talk about acting and movies and stuff like that. Anyway, so this pipeline is full. It's still fairly full. So the people who have been groomed who are coming out, who are the young ones who are coming out now to be, they're trying to make them, right? They're trying to make them happen, because that's how the star system in America works. You identify, cultivate, you put them out, you give them a certain amount of chances, and if they fail, eventually they just become character actors. But if they succeed, then you have your next generation of stars. There's a casualty rate. They understand what that is. But at the end of the day, this pipeline is still fairly full. So it's still spewing out people who've been drilled that I have to have these ideological talking points in everything I do. I've got to get on my social media and talk, be an activist and all this kind of stuff. And I've got to, when I'm on the red carpet, I got to talk about diversity and inclusion, and inclusivity is a big one. And the more aggressive of them, the ones who probably actually do emotionally believe what they're saying, and more power to them for not being hypocrites in that regard. Seriously, those people are coming out and they're spewing this stuff, even though it's going to fail and alienate audiences and hurt their career. Rachel Ziegler did herself in by the degree of ferocity to which she embraced this crap. So Brie Larson, I don't know where her career, if her career is ever going to recover. I don't think it will, but she at least had the sense to tone down the bullshit. But a lot of these people can't do it because they're too young and they're too indoctrinated to let it go. They won't let it go. So if you're wondering about why the Jaguar commercial and stuff is coming, and if you're wondering, like in the face of all evidence that people are done with this, just done, people at the center, like I'm a centrist, we're freaking done with it. We've had enough. It's been going on for decades in an ever-increasing level, from political correctness back in the 90s to the invention of wokeism, which is just political correctness like 2.0 with a supercharger like Mad Max. Lost to the V8 interceptors. So this stuff, it's in the pipeline. And because it's in the pipeline, you're still going to see it. You're still going to see it for some time. You're still going to see people pushing this out because they don't have the ability to cut that pipeline off and just start fresh. All the post-woke concepts and all the post-woke interviews that we're all sort of looking forward to, when actors just go back to being actors, and movies and TV and games just go back to being things that were supposed to entertain us instead of ideologically brainwash us and beat us down and tell us we suck and signal virtues and all the rest of it. It's going to take time to empty that out. Kind of like food poisoning. And unfortunately, we're still going to be stuck with this for a while. So if you're wondering why we can't get away from this, even in almost 2025, when we've passed peak woke and we're on the downslope, that's why. It's a pipeline, and unfortunately, we're going to be stuck with this crap for some time to come. Sorry. If you enjoyed today's video, please remember to like, subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell, and remember to check out my books on Amazon. Link is in the description. I drop scripted content every Friday at 3 p.m., shorts every day, and unscripted outbursts whenever rage moves me to do it. See you next time, and until then, stay cold.